All right, we're on to essay number 4. Good job so far. I want you to give yourself congratulations for getting this far in the class. And let's keep going and helping each other out and try to improve our reading, improve our writing, and just work hard, you know. So this unit is going to focus on science fiction poetry. And really it's post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic poetry, really. And so we're going to be looking at really some classic apocalyptic poetry, and then moving on to kind of connecting two of them. So the three pieces you're going to be reading are Darkness by Lord Byron, romantic poet, who in some ways has written one of these famous post-apocalyptic environmental kind of poems. And so then we also will read Horses by Edwin Muir and Your Attention Please by Peter Porter. After reading the three poems and doing journals and doing a close reading for each poem, you know, that's looking more carefully at the language being used in those poems, and recording both the, you know, first time you read it, kind of summary response, first thought about it, and then you go back to it and do a close reading of it, looking at language and how language is used in context for how you're reading the poem and the purpose for reading it. You know, and recording some of those thoughts. After doing that for each of the three poems, I then ask you to pick two of them and essentially do a comparison and contrast of them. You know, so you can go ahead and use the compare and contrast worksheet to help you kind of think about the tonal differences or the thematic differences and the differences in setting and time, possibly, as a way of helping us create a larger understanding of these two through comparison contrast. You'll also be doing a little worksheet on sentence activities with concession and contrast. Obviously that makes a little sense when you're doing comparison contrast, that it would be good for you to use, you know, words like although or even though, or even words like however and in addition and so forth. These are words that help us compare and contrast through concession, and so that would be really good for you to use those, especially in important spots in your poem, in your essay, excuse me, like in your topic sentence as such. Because this is an untimed essay, you'll also be going through peer response, so please do get your first draft out in time. Those are easy points, I feel, and it makes for a better final draft if you're able to go through and experience all the different steps of peer response. So you don't only have to get out a full draft and submit it by midnight on Saturday. You also, after that time, have to come back to the peer response place and then do a complete annotation of two other students' work. So you'll use the editing tools by clicking View Feedback and then edit their works in the same way that I do yours, and then also fill out a rubric in the same way I do yours. Again, the rubric, when it's filled out, is an evaluation of a draft, but that's not the score you're going to be getting. You get full and complete credit for actually taking seriously each step of that by, you know, you get points for submitting a draft and then points for actually going through the two other steps of reviewing other students' work. Okay, great. Make sure then you know, post that in your portfolio, and then also reflect on peer response. And then you will submit your final draft to me and to the portfolio, along with your grading chart and your final reflection in your portfolio. Okay, and then that's on to the next unit. Okay, that's a quick summary of what's happening in this unit, so I hope that helps, and great, onward.